All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Locker Room to Boardroom, the podcast. Very excited for our episode today. But first and foremost, want to give a special shout out to Corey Vogesser over at the Home Team Insurance, powered by Allstate. Their team is there to protect you before mayhem shows up, and so awesome team, awesome organization. Corey's an amazing guy. I know firsthand. They did my insurance, so if you're in the area, they definitely deserve a call to take a look at what they can do for you. But again, jumping in now, so we're so excited about this episode today. Have a very special guest. I'm actually going to kick this one over to Mike for the intro on this one today.
Super excited to be here. Welcome, everybody. Super pumped about today's podcast. We have a guest that's a good friend, a great friend of mine, former teammate. I'm just going to get into a little bio. It's a little lengthy, but I think it deserves to be said. Today's guest is Bryan Randall, one of the most accomplished and versatile athletes to ever come out of the state of Virginia. A true competitor, Bryan's journey from Williamsburg to national stage is a story of leadership, toughness, and elite performance. Some of his accolades from high school in Williamsburg, Virginia: Gatorade State Player of the Year, rated #1 high school player in the state of Virginia, first player in Virginia history to rush and pass for 1,000 yards in the season, accomplished twice. State Player of the Year for basketball, led his basketball team to a state championship, elite multi-sport athlete. At Virginia Tech, played both basketball and football, starting quarterback for the Virginia Tech football team in one of the most competitive eras at Virginia Tech. ACC Player of the Year, led Virginia Tech and our team 2004-2005 to an ACC championship in our first year in the ACC, and played in the Sugar Bowl, set records for passing and total offense, known for toughness, leadership, commanding the locker room. And most importantly, just an amazing friend, amazing person. Currently is coaching at William and Mary, quarterback coach there. And so excited to have you on, Bryan. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey man, I appreciate that. Hey man, that was an awesome intro right there.
Back,
I hear some of
man.
those things. I forget about some of those things that were 20
Hey,
years ago. Over 20 years ago.
you
That's good
did that.
stuff.
You
Good
Oh
did.
stuff.
You
man, I know
did
that
that.
was yeah, that's good. That's a long list. I don't know if you guys ever saw it. It reminded me of they used to read when you step on the first tee at a PGA tournament, and they always used to list Tiger Woods'
Yeah.
accomplishments. It's like,
Right.
all right. This just keeps going and going. Man, that's a good list. Good,
Few
that's a good
things.
intro there, Mike. But no, man, we're super excited to have you on. Appreciate you taking the time with us. And typically, kind of what we like to do to begin this thing out is, just love to hear about, your youth, how you kind of grew up, how you got introduced to sports, how you started playing all the different sports. I mean, what was that like for you?
So I grew up a coach's kid. I grew up in Charleston, West Virginia. My dad was the basketball coach at West Virginia State. He started off as the women's coach there and eventually became the head basketball coach there. So from a young age, we were exposed to a lot of sports by being on the campus. So basketball, of course, it became my first love. However, my dad was always he was always pushing the importance of being able to do more than just one thing, and he wanted to expose us to all sports. So with that exposure came tennis, baseball, football, golf. So a lot of sports that typically you're not introduced to in certain situations. Me and my brother were very fortunate to be able to have access by being on that campus to all these different sports, man. And we just grew to love, and the competitiveness between me and him grew fast, and the love for sports grew fast, man. We stayed in the gym.
Oh man, that's awesome. I know there's nothing like that
Yeah.
brotherly competition there. And just having so did you just have access to the gym basically all the
Yes.
time? I mean, that's it's one of the greatest things in the world is an empty gym.
Oh, the
Listen.
best.
So this how it would go down. So where we live, it was called faculty housing. So basically, we could walk probably less than a minute, and we're at the tennis courts. Then behind that was the basketball gymnasium, where the basketball team plays. So his office was there. So we would just walk back and forth to his office. I mean, we're young, we're talking 6, 7, years old, but it was literally that close. So while he's at work, and if we were off, I remember my mom would pack us some snacks in a Ziploc, and you're going with your dad. And look, and it's crazy because now that I'm older, like I really understand what was going on. Like it's like, hey, I need some time. Y'all get out the house. And my mom, like, she could literally just send us, and me and my brother would just go. My dad would be in his office. We'd be up in the gym all day long, like going at it, shooting. I can still remember shooting 100 free throws, counting, like, hey, how many you make, how many you miss, and we just do stuff like that all day long.
Oh
Dang.
man. Yeah, that's so awesome. It's especially awesome. I mean, now I feel like everybody's so screen addicted, and just video games and sitting inside. And so growing up in an environment like
Yes.
that, and that's phenomenal. So how would you say early on did you and your brother start? Did you ever just like go in and hoop with the college team? Did you start getting in the mix with them right away?
So we weren't like at that age, at that time to be able to intermix. But what it did was it exposed, like, because of my dad, like he was always trying to teach us life lessons, right? So we would travel with the team, and then we would hear like him. It would always be like a story after, like, hey, so and so is ineligible. Like those are the kind of stories that we were getting. It was like, listen, if you don't get the grades, like you're not going to be able to play. Like grades are important. Such and such our favorite player, that we're watching is like, hey, he's not going to be able to play this semester because he don't got the grades. So we got kind of introduced to not just the playing side, but the other side
Yeah.
of the sports. And we were actually able to be around the players. They looked at us, as like nephews and things like that. So we were always around. So we experienced a lot of that coach side, that if you're not a coach's kid, you really don't really get the inside. So that was pretty awesome. Like looking back at it, man, it was awesome.
Oh, it's such a cool way to grow up. So when you were you guys, it was like bus rides? Is that you were taking bus rides with the team?
Yes. So we would go. So we wouldn't get to take all the way ride. So we would take, it'd be certain like events like we go to. Like we would ride the bus with the team, for the certain away games, and they'd be up and back trips. So it wasn't like we are going to stay.
Oh
And
yeah.
actually, there was a couple of times when we visited to Virginia, where I'm at now. There was a tournament up here, that we would come to. And then one of the other special moments was when they had like the state tournament, which was at the Charleston Civic Center. Which fast forward, when I got to high school, we took a trip back to play in that same Civic Center in
Oh
West
man.
Virginia. So
Oh
It's
dang.
yeah,
circle
you talking
right
about
there.
like a blessing. Like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Now y'all got me going back, and some of these things I
Yeah.
just totally forget about. But yeah, that was one of my experiences. Yeah, because of that
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. And so then, growing up kind of being introduced to basically every sport that you can think of, right? I mean, how did you just kind of start to gravitate towards those certain sports was it just through like club teams, through your school teams? I mean, a
Mhm.
passion level. How did you kind of just gravitate to kind of once you got to high school to select the sports that you were going to compete in there?
Correct. So since we were playing multiple sports, the one that we really gravitated to, me and my brother both, was basketball. First and foremost. I mean, we were in camps. I mean, we followed my dad. So naturally, that was kind of our first take, became our first love. We were all in. The other sports we were very competitive in, but the only other sport that we played that was like throughout a league was baseball.
Okay.
Baseball was the only other sport that we did like league wise, other than basketball. So by the time we left and we got to Virginia, we were doing like AAU basketball, traveling, doing all that type of stuff, and then baseball in the spring or whatever. So when it came to football, it was like, hey, it was backyard, that type of thing. So I never had played organized football until my seventh grade year, and me and my brother both did it together
Really?
my
Seven.
seventh grade year.
Okay. Yeah, that's a little later.
A
It's
little
a couple
late.
years. It's
Little
a
late. So
couple
we
years
talking
later.
we talking we talking first day of football. I don't even know what half the equipment is. Some of us like pants. Back then we were wearing girdles. So
Yes.
you got the white
Yes.
Uh,
girdle. You put them in, put your hip pads in the girdles,
Oh
and
yeah.
then the trick is to turn your pants inside out to put the thigh pads
The
in.
thigh pads.
And the knee
Yeah.
pad. So this is like all new. It's like foreign territory. So
Oh
it's like a
yes.
nervousness because I'm like, man, I played back in the backyard, but like this is like a real deal, gonna get hit past. So yeah, seventh grade, me and my brother, that was our first experience together.
Wow.
But
That's
oh
cool.
man. Yeah,
What
that's what
position? What position
Huh?
did you play? What position did
So Brandon started out as quarterback. My brother started out as a quarterback, and I started out as a running back.
Okay.
And he played 1 year. That was it. His
That
eighth
was,
grade year, he was done. After that, he moved on and he went to golf. So he
yeah.
stuck with the golf. And then
Yeah.
the next year, I became the quarterback of that
Okay.
team. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, yeah. Did he get popped once? What happened? Just got.
Well, his frame. I mean, if you ever see my brother, he's 6'6", but his frame is real thin. So my brother was probably about 5'7", 125. Out there. He had enough. Look, he made the right decision though, because golf. He was the man. Yeah, he
yeah.
was the man. So he made the right decision.
And
Oh, that's
both of y'all are excellent golfers, right? Or golf
Yes.
competitors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his
Both
his
of
golf
y'all.
path started better than mine. Mine came a little bit later,
Yeah. Who's
but
better now?
we love golf. Now I would go. I'll beat him now. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know he'll
He'll
be watching. I talked to him earlier this morning. So
Yeah, but he'll come. But see, the thing is, Mike, like he'll come out to Brandon being 6'6", like he really was like a really good golfer. And I tell people, we had the conversation within the family. Like my dad actually wanted to push him to play golf, but he
mm,
wanted to play basketball. I mean, he was that
okay.
good of a golfer. He could have went to college and played golf for sure.
Wow. I didn't
Yeah, he
know.
was that good.
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
Yeah, he was that
Okay.
good. Yeah,
yeah. Dang, good for him. 6'6". That's some long levers.
yeah,
Uh,
hey, yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's. But man, so what positions did you play in baseball and then in basketball?
So baseball, I was a pitcher and I played center field. And
Okay.
I love baseball. I love playing. And I played all the way up through middle school. And then after middle school, I let alone to run track because everybody get faster. Da, da, da. I'm like, okay, I got to
Oh,
try
yeah.
something. I'm going to push it aside to run track. And then I came back my 10th grade year, and coach was like, "Hey, you can run track. You can just come out here and you can pitch." I was like, "Oh, cool. I'll just come out. I don't got to do it. I'll come out and pitch." He's like, "Yeah, so you can do both. You can run track." But once I got out there, it's like, hold on, now I'm pitching. I want to hit. Like I want to be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I want to hit. Let me. Matter of fact, just
Uh-huh.
put me out of center field too, coach. When I'm not doing. But here's the kicker. This is what I always tell people. So because of the year I skipped, my ninth grade year, that the way they were throwing in eighth grade and the way that they were throwing my 10th grade, I said, wait a minute, like
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
standing up. I'm like, whoa, like this is like 70 and 85 to 80 to 90 miles per hour is totally
Oh, yeah.
different. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I look back and I'm like, man, like I wish I would have stuck playing. Like I wish I'd have played my ninth grade year. Like I would have just kept playing. But I was grateful to play that 10th grade year. Had a lot of fun doing it. We actually made a pretty good run that year. But yeah, that was kind of my situation with the baseball. I had to make some decisions, and I thought track was better off for me, moving on to as far as what I want to do with football.
For
And in
sure.
basketball, I was a
Okay.
point guard, and
Okay.
I've always been like I don't know, like I always played that position. Like even when here's a funny story. So my seventh grade year in middle school, I was 5'10" and a half already. Like so, I was pretty good size during that
Yeah.
time. So I was one of the
Yeah.
tallest guys on the team.
Yes, for sure.
My brother was like 5'7" at this time. So the coach is like, "Hey," I'm telling the coach, and I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, my brother, he's a point guard. Like that's what he plays. He's been playing, that his whole life." And the coach is like, "Yeah, he too big to be a point guard. So I mean, he's probably got to play inside." And then after the first tryout or whatever, he was like, "No, you're right. He's a point guard. That's what he's gonna be. The ball's gonna be in his hands, and then
Yeah.
on defense, he'll play down low." So that's kind of how like
Okay.
the give and take went. I played down low on defense, and then on offense, I was the point guard.
So wait, you were 3 inches taller than Brandon?
Yes, Mike. Yes, I thought
And
I had the
Brandon, how
juice.
tall is he? How tall is he now?
Brandon is 6'6" now.
And Brandon is his older brother.
Brandon's
Just
my
to be
older
blunt.
brother. We're 20 months apart.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we got a picture when we was in middle school. So I'm sitting here, I'm 5'10" and a half. He's 5'8", looking scrawny. However, the next year and when he went the next year in high school, Brandon had to grow 3 to 4 inches, within that next year. And then by the time we were and I thought I had hope because I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be about 6'3", 6'4". I'm gonna grow like my brother. And by the time
Yeah.
I became a senior, my Brandon was 6'4", and I was still basically I grew like an inch and a half. I grew like an inch and a half. So listen, so hear me now. I said when he left, he was Brandon was 6'4" in high school leaving. He left high school and grew another 2 inches.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there's still hope. I'm still gonna grow. I got another year
Yeah.
and a half. I'm gonna grow. Nah, I've been the same, brother. Been the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah. If you were at 6'3", 6'4", it would have been a problem.
Things have been a little different,
I
man.
mean, you are already a problem. You're already a problem on the court and field. Already a problem. Bona fide problem. But if you're 6'3",
Yeah,
6'4",
yeah, man.
boy,
It's nice to think about, but
boy,
yeah,
that's funny that you were taller than Brandon.
yes.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah. Oh man, that's good. So what did you run in track then?
So in track, I ran the 100, 200, did the high jump, long jump, and the 400. Hate the 400.
Okay.
400,
Boy,
Yeah.
that's that real deal. Once
woo.
you get to the 400, I'm like, man, that's the real tester of where your heart is because
Yeah.
it takes everything. I call
It's
that the
Yes.
man's race,
Oh,
man. That's a beast. I used to hate that
it's
race.
it's hard to watch that. You feel for people running. You're
You
like, oh
do.
man.
Once you run that one time, then when you watch somebody else do it, you like 45 seconds. Like, wait a minute. 44
Man,
seconds. Like,
it's a
what?
push.
yes.
It's a
Yeah.
push
Oh,
for track. Was there? You had mentioned it, but did somebody recommend you running track? Was that something that other people were doing that played multi-sport? What led you to that?
So the whole track thing came about because mostly everybody in our school, um, most of the athletes anyway, like we all played multiple sports at that time. All my friends, like we all did it. So it was kind of something like moving through the seasons. We all just went to whatever sport was next. So most of us that was on the football team and the basketball team went to track, for that season. So I guess it was kind of the dual thing of being able to be with your friends and that camaraderie
Sure.
that you have, and then also the trying to get better, trying to get faster, for another sport, increase your athletic ability. You can never be fast enough. So that had a lot to do with it as well. So it was fun, man, fun times. But track was hard times as well.
If I could have done athletically, if I could have done anything over, and you see me run, we were at college together. I
Yeah.
had lots of room for improvement, but if I could have done anything over again in high school, I would have added track, even if I wasn't competing, at least using it for conditioning.
So you
And
never did track, Mike? Never.
I went out for a couple practices, and I was just like, nah, you see me run,
What you do? What you do?
not enough.
Nothing. I mean, no, I'm saying, what you do other than track? I mean, what did you do during that season?
Well, we basketball.
Oh, just kept playing
I
basketball.
just kept playing basketball. We picked up a little bit early and then got into AAU heavy. We started AAU a little bit earlier.
Okay, I got you.
And I went out to a couple track practices. I was just like, man, they cut differently, man. The true track athletes are just cut. They make it look easy. It's just like I was intimidated.
Right.
I'm gonna be real with you. I was like, this is a lot.
People, it trips me out because some people are blessed to be fast. Like that's cool. Like you're blessed to be fast, and you got a sport that you just run. So
Yeah.
my thing was, so when we first used to get out there, like for our warm up was running either 2 or 3 miles every day. Now I'm just like, man, I can't make it through. Like the mile was never my thing. Did y'all used to do the physical fitness test?
Oh yeah.
oh
We
yeah.
were talking about
Oh
yesterday.
yeah.
Presidential award and the
Presidential national.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
listen, the
Yes.
mile was my kryptonite. I'm like, man, I cannot run no mile. The mile used to be kryptonite, and it comes natural to some people. So they need to bring that back. They don't do that anymore, do they? That was a
They,
cool thing.
they do not. We were talking about with another family last night. Literally talking about last night.
That was cool. That was cool.
Yep. You get your little patch.
Get you a get you a
Yeah.
Yeah.
patch. We went
Oh,
to
that's
different
funny.
schools. Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
that's funny. But track it's one of those things that learning how to run is so important, right? And like you said, I mean, that was my brother ran the 400 in college, which,
Okay.
that's a tough event. It's funny.
Huh.
So I have a 6-year-old son, right? And he wanted to try track this summer. And that was their warm up was they had to just jog a 400 to warm up. And he
Yeah.
got done with that lap and he ran up to me and was like, Dad, I'm done. And I was like, man, I don't blame you. I get it, man. Like
I
that's,
get
it's come on back to the baseball field, right? That's why we We're not just out there running, but it's definitely there's so much value in that. I remember when I was in high school, I didn't run track, because I was
Mhm.
playing baseball, but my
Mhm.
brother would come back to back to my high school to just work with me on my running form. And
Right.
that, baseball, the big thing is the 60, right? And in football, you guys got the 40. But the
Yes.
60 for us,
Yes.
so 60 yard is kind of the universal baseball time. It's home to second, but you run in a straight line. I don't know. But anyways, and so learning how to run shaved probably 2/10 of a second off my 60 time.
No
And so
doubt.
just that increase, and then, the learning like your first step on a steal and learning how to get out of the blocks and learning all those things was such a great skill set to learn. And
Mhm.
so I mean I loved that element, but yes, going out there just to run for fun did not seem ideal. I liked running 90 feet and then you get to call timeout and take a minute break.
No doubt.
That part is
No
is
doubt. Yeah, absolutely. I'm
is
with
awesome. But yeah, and so, I know you touched on a lot of that stuff, and the camaraderie and all that stuff. I mean, what was really, other than the camaraderie, I mean, what was kind of your favorite part about just playing all those sports as long as you could?
man. I don't know. It's something about that competition, and you meet so many good competitors in all these sports, and like for basketball, like traveling with AAU basketball, like I played against numerous NBA players, got to guard them, and it was just like seeing like what's out there, seeing the best of the best of some of these sports, and being able to compete against them was always a big thing for me. Like when it came to football. Being at Bruin, like we were a smaller school, we probably had about 30, 35 people. And, you know, football and basketball actually, but like on the football side, people used to look at us like, hey, like, oh, they're not playing nobody. That's small Bruton. The kids are smaller in their district and, he's probably not that good. But for me to be my junior year, I was the number one player in the state, preseason, number one player in the state. And then come back my senior year was the same. Around the time, number one senior. And so I was getting a lot of accolades, but people really were kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out on me because of nothing out of my control. Like I didn't control the district. I can't control
Oh
who
yeah.
playing. But it was kind of like that edge of like just working to be the best, and then when you start getting some of this notoriety, then you're working even harder because people are, putting you under a microscope to see what you can do, what you can do, and
Oh yeah. You get the target on
so
your back.
target, it's a target. So it was just it's something about that that just kind of like drives, that part of life where you just have to grind, steadily to try to be your best and to make sure that you're on top of your game.
And
Oh, absolutely.
at that time, that list, that Roanoke list was super, maybe it still is, I don't know, super prestigious. I
Yeah.
mean, that list during the run, I feel like in Virginia sports from 95, high school sports, and I'm sure after too, but
Mhm.
95 to about 2005, 2007, there
Mhm.
was so many very talented athletes, multi-sport athletes.
Mhm.
And so to be number one, regardless of what size school you're playing at, is impressive. That was it. I think for my year, my teammate was Brandon Royster. If you remember him, he went off and played
Yes.
at Stanford, actually Stanford, played All American, all that good stuff. But he was
Mhm.
number one. And Raymond Mann, if you
Raymond
remember,
Man from Hampton.
yeah,
Yep.
And so
Mhm.
you looked at those lists, and you're like, okay, that's okay. Like,
Yeah. No,
we can size people up.
somebody was bringing up a bunch of those old papers on Facebook, and they had it from like '97 and like all the way up to mid, to 2000s, and just looking at the list and looking at some of those names that were on there and where they were and what they did with their careers, man, it was a lot of good players, and a lot of players were at that time were staying in state. And I
Yes,
think
they
that was
were.
one of the points that people were making was like,
Yes, they were.
that list coming out of Virginia, we had a lot of people that were going to Tech and UVA and staying in state during that time. So
Absolutely.
definitely a prestigious list.
Yeah, that was it to be number one too. That
Ah,
was it.
you can't take that
That
away
was
from.
it.
Look, you can take a lot of things away. You can't take that away.
No, you
Ever.
can't
You
take
can't
that
take that
away. And
away.
I want everybody to know, like where Brian's from, the Tidewater area in Virginia is probably one of the most talent-rich area of athletes, probably per capita in the country.
Mm,
It has a wealth of athletes that have come out that have gone all the way to the pro levels, collegiate level, and just and made a huge impact in the high school level. So it is the best of the best in the state of Virginia, which is a top sports state, especially for football. And then with basketball, everyone that plays basketball in Virginia, you're competing with DMV, the
Mm-hmm.
DC, Maryland, Virginia. I mean, no, and so to be ranked as high as you were is a testament to your work ethic, your career,
Yeah.
your support system too, right? We all know it's not everybody, which we'll get to later, but that's impressive. It's
Yeah,
impressive.
for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. That's cool. And so, I mean, with all that being said, and kind of all those accolades, I mean,
Mhm.
so when you started getting to that recruiting process, I mean, what was that like for you to kind of start to enter into the collegiate talks and navigate? Did you get basketball and football offers? I mean, how did you kind of navigate that whole process?
Yeah, so the process was awesome. So after my ninth grade year, nothing at that point. But after my 10th grade year, when I became the quarterback, because I didn't start quarterback till my 10th grade year, um, I got my first offer letter after that from UVA. UVA was
Your first one.
my
Okay.
very first scholarship offer came from UVA. How ironic after my 10th
Oh,
grade year.
wow.
And from then on, like they started pouring in, and it kind
After
of
1 year starting?
one year starting at quarterback, yeah, after my 10th grade year. Yeah.
Jeez. In your freshman year, did you play varsity?
I played varsity, I played receiver, I was the backup quarterback, and I played DB
Okay.
my freshman
Okay.
year. So yeah. But that after that sophomore year at quarterback, um, the look started really flooding in. And even at that point in time, like I wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna be, gonna take football on after, college or after high school, to go to the next level. Like I'm still green because I'm still loving basketball. At
Right.
that point. But once I how I saw the letter start flooding in from football, I'm like, oh, this is different. Like this
Yeah.
is a different type um of people, wanting your talents on the next level. And
Right.
what ended up happening is because I was, having success in basketball, the two sport thing in college at that time was being done or was going to be done by Ronald Curry from the area, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
So when
You went
that
to
happened,
UNC.
I'm like, oh,
He's supposed to go to UVA,
huh?
right? He was
Supposed
supposed
to
to
go
go
to
to
UVA?
UVA.
Yes.
Okay.
Switched to UNC, went to go to UNC.
Yep.
And he ended up doing both sports. So I'm like, oh, cool. I don't gotta give up, one of them if I don't, want to. So I'm gonna tell everybody that's recruiting me that I want to play both.
Okay.
And that's my plan. So I did have some small division ones, recruit me for basketball, even Virginia Tech. So Virginia Tech, Coach Ricky Stokes at the time, he said, even if you don't play football, I'll recruit you as a basketball player, which was pretty big, at the time. So I'm like, okay, well,
Big
Oh
news.
yeah.
that
That's
says a
big
lot.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, that says a lot. So I could still play if I didn't, play football. But
Wow.
all the schools that recruit me for, I was kind of using that leverage of, hey, all these big schools recruit me for football. I want to play basketball too. Not just saying like I was shabby in basketball, but that was kind of like my thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's so tough, dude. To play both.
Yeah. It was. I mean, of course, it's not as easy as in my mind. Like, hey, yeah, I can do it. It's not high school.
Yeah, it's not high school.
That's the difference. But yeah, it's painting that picture of thinking about it like, oh, I can do two sports at college. Like
It's
I
just
can
like,
do it. I know I can do it.
and look, and now kids won't even do two sports with youth ball.
Like, yes,
You
they
know,
won't.
you did two in college.
Yeah, 2 o'clock.
Teamwork.
No, you get one, and
I'm out.
that's it.
That's it.
So
Okay. So your college is what did it come down to? Did it come down to one or just two or three or what was your like kind
uh,
of
came down to Virginia Tech, Tennessee, UNC, and UVA. I had UVA on my list at that time, and took visits to them all. Met with the basketball coaches as well as football coaches. Tennessee, though, they really were kind of pushing me to be a DB. Like when I got down there, the first place they took me was to the
oh,
defensive back room. So
so
yeah, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, well, I appreciate y'all, letting me know like that's really where y'all want me to be.
right.
Because I mean I was an all-state safety as well. So
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't even know.
Yeah, parade All American as an athlete when I
Okay.
when I get there. So yeah, so defense it was an option for me, and so that was
Dang.
my
Okay.
that was my next decision was whether hey, do you want to play offense or do you want to play defense? And I mean,
Okay.
schools will recruit me basically as both. I think some schools wanted me to play defense more
More.
than to play quarterback.
And so that's interesting right there. Like, were you set on playing quarterback? Obviously, you believed you could play quarterback. What gave you like, why did you want to play quarterback over DB? And what gave you the belief
Mm.
that you were capable of doing that?
So I was a safety, but the quarterback position for me was like playing point guard. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like they kind
Oh yeah.
it was that, and I really feel like when it really came down to it, that was it for me.
Yeah.
Like being a point guard is something I love. I love the control. I love the way that you have control of the team as the leader. You're the guy to facilitate. So in football, the quarterback, I kind of related those two positions. Um, but I can say that when I started like to think about the future and looking past even college at this time, it's kind of like, man, like if I choose to play quarterback, like what is what is the future past college going to look like? Am I going to have an opportunity to go further than that? Or if I play defense, is it broaden out? And,
Sure.
and in all reality, defense, it was like in
Yeah.
my mind, even then, I'm like, and my dad told me that. He was
Yeah.
like, if you play defense, you'll probably have a
Yeah.
better chance of moving past. Not saying you won't be successful playing quarterback, but
Yeah.
you'll probably have a better chance of finding a spot after college if you play defense.
Right.
Nope. I'm playing
They're not. Yeah, I hear all
nope.
that, Dad.
No, dad. No.
No, man.
So yeah, so I mean, honestly, guys, like I mean, it was one of those. That was like a tough life. That was like a
Yeah,
life decision for me because it was
absolutely.
like,
Oh,
man,
absolutely.
what do I do? Like, man, this is my life. My career is like it's on the line. My lifeline, or as far as playing pro sports is, could really come down to this decision that I'm making here in high school. And I just quarterback was just in my heart. Like it was. I liked defense, but I loved playing quarterback. So
Yeah.
that's
No,
And
what
so,
it was.
absolutely. That's a good way to look at it. I mean, again, it's a big decision to put on a 17, 18-year-old kid, right? And
Yeah.
so I mean, it's good to evaluate all those options.
No, that definitely was. Look, I know it'd be if we are in this day and age, it would have been even harder because
Oh yeah.
probably about the NIL and all that type of stuff. So yeah, that the quarterback decision was at that time for me was just about the love.
yeah. And okay,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead, Jake.
No, you got it.
So let's start with like at Virginia Tech, like because I have my memories of you coming in and playing and my observations. But what were your thoughts getting in there? Were you when you got there? Were you like, man, I belong here? Like I fit in as far as like athletically, like I can play here. Or were you like, this is overwhelming? I don't know. I need to develop a lot. Like,
Yeah.
take me through that.
So after being on campus and being with the team, I would compare it to how I felt as a freshman going into high school.
Hmm.
So, like physically, when you're going like in as a ninth grader and you're looking at the seniors, like
Hmm.
you're not the same physical, like they are, whether they're better athletes than you, maybe not. But from a standpoint of being physically ready, in
Right.
my ninth grade year in high school, I was like, man, like dang, these guys are big, like strong, So when I got to school, it was a similar feeling, more so of the speed of the game. Me coming from, Bruton, where we weren't really throwing the ball that much.
Yeah.
We were kind of balanced. Even though I rushed for 1,000, pass for 1,000, like we were a really balanced option,
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
So now being in a position where I know I'm going to be, you know, um, in a position where I'm gonna need to be able to facilitate the ball, throw the ball, learn more, read defenses. Um, it's like it became it was a little overwhelming. Um, and I didn't feel like it wasn't anything I couldn't handle eventually. But like but like right away, but right away, I said,
So,
man, this is gonna be this is gonna be a challenge. Like
challenge.
it's gonna be
Absolutely.
challenging. Yeah.
And then, so your freshman year, who was that quarterback?
So my freshman year, Grant Knoll,
Grant. Okay.
was quarterback. Mike had just left. So I went to Tech thinking I was gonna sit behind Mike, red shirt.
Yeah.
He goes into the draft that year, gets drafted number one. I remember being at the spring game and they showed him being drafted number one.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that changes things. So I'm at that point in time, I'm thinking, oh yeah, well, I'll be ready to play, as a freshman when I get there.
What, Brad? I'm ready.
Things have changed. I'm ready. I'm ready now. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
And this is pre people enrolling early a lot,
Yeah,
like in January and getting the
yeah,
spring ball and all that stuff. So
yep.
if you're a freshman, when we played, right, and you
Mm-hmm.
start as a freshman, like
Yeah,
true,
you're that guy. Yeah, like you're that guy. Like
true,
you don't have much time to really get adjusted. And for me, I was able to actually get in with a couple guys, me, D'Angelo Hall, Justin Hamilton, Chris Clifton, Kevin Jones, got
yeah,
there the summer session, 2 summer sessions early,
yep.
to try to get a jump on things. And
Yep.
even with that, like, I mean, it helped, but it wasn't enough to make me feel like, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to take on this challenge. I mean, it was still challenging, adjusting to the speed and to everything that was going on. I mean, especially at that position, at the quarterback position. So
Yeah, I was going to say that's where that decision of the quarterback came
yeah,
back into play, right? But I
absolutely.
mean, how was that? Because obviously, with the quarterback position it's got to be, I don't know, maybe I'm naive. It's got to be the most like mentally demanding position to learn a new system, right? And now you got to learn the playbook, learn how to control everything, right? You're reading the defenses, doing all that stuff. I mean, how was that mentally for you? With I mean, it's different with football, right? Obviously, baseball, we have a spring season. So when I show up freshman year, we got fall ball, I got all winter. I have,
Yeah.
6 to 8 months to get my mind right before the season starts. But
Right.
how was just that mental side for you of like trying to consume all of this new information while still trying to go out there and compete and earn your spot and do all those things?
It was a lot. And it was a lot from the standpoint of mentally trying to learn the football stuff, but then, you're getting acclimated from being away from home, the school part, the physical part. I was, and actually I wasn't small, like as far as body frame. Like I was probably about 205 by the time I got to Tech, which was, not too bad. But as far as like the mental load of like learning the playbook and helping that to transfer out to the field and getting used to now I got, instead of 5'7", 5'6" linemen in front of me, I got 6'4", 6'5". I'm looking for throwing windows and guys are running 4-3. The defense is, and then not to help, I'm facing Mike Deasy in the Virginia
Oh,
Tech number one ranked defense in the in the country. So it's like, man, like this is it really can't get any more challenging than seeing this every day, facing these guys while trying to learn, while trying to process, while trying to get better, while trying to get stronger. And then I started getting the arm troubles. And that's really when it's turned into, oh man, I'm fighting an uphill battle, right now. So that mental side of it, alone, without the physical,
mm,
was just on another level, as a freshman coming in, trying to, see if I'd be able to compete for, a starting job.
heck yeah.
Man, yeah, and that's funny. We were joking about it last week. I mean, on top of all of that stuff, I mean, you mentioned it. Now it's your first time away from home. You got the academic course load, right? I
Yeah,
mean, there's so many other things in play. What Brandy said
yeah.
last week, she said in college sports, there's what's it, sports, school, and a social life. You got to pick two, right? And so,
Mm,
I'm trying to
mm.
manage all that. I mean, it's again, it's like trying to work two full-time jobs, right?
No doubt.
And so there's so much more into that balance. And I know we were kind of talking a little bit before we got on here about just that academic and social life side of things. And so how was it, for you trying to manage college, not even just college athletics, but everything else that goes into it?
Yeah, you try to get that balance, right? And for me, it's like, oh, being away from home, like this is like freedom. You start to feel some of that freedom, like, oh, I ain't got nobody telling me what to. I ain't got to wake up and go to class. Like it's really my choice. Like I gotta grow up and make and be responsible and figure out my schedules and make sure I'm places on time. And my parents aren't there to take me there or to make me do this or make me do that. So, for me, I was enjoying that part. Like I felt like that's one of the best parts of it. Like, oh, I can do what I want to do. Stay up how late I want to stay up. I want to stay out and not come back to my room. That's what I'm gonna do. So I think you begin to learn. But football puts a lot of things in check. The sport, because you are, you have so many scheduled things that you got to do. It is like, hey, you got to find a way to balance it. Otherwise, you're gonna sink on one side or the other. Like
Oh
you,
yeah.
your academics are gonna be suffering, or you're not gonna be showing up, able to perform how you need to on the football side or your sports side. So I think learning that balance was really part of the growing up, and I think it takes time, just like I feel like it did for any freshman that comes in. But at the same time, like I love that aspect of having the freedom to make those choices.
Oh, absolutely. The autonomy is very nice, right? And I think that it kind of goes back into learning what sacrifices you need to make, right? Whether, I mean, I just remember seeing that all the time of kids on campus that weren't playing sports. And it's like, you guys have all the time in the world to do whatever you want to do. You're going to go take a yacht through the bay. You're going to go up to Yosemite or Tahoe or something. It's like, all right, yeah, I can't do those things,
Yeah,
and so it's learning those sacrifices is it's a good thing, right? It's a good we've talked about this a few times now. It teaches you those life skills that, it's not
yeah,
just about what you're going through, it's about what this is going to translate to for the rest of my life, right? And so
absolutely,
it's a
absolutely.
good thing to learn because again, there's a lot of ego in a 18, 19-year-old kid, especially when you have that kind of the bright lights and the freedom. And now, again, I'm the man, I'm out here doing all this stuff. And so it's good for you.
Yes,
It's good for you to
absolutely.
learn some of those things. And so, yeah, with your time at Tech, I mean, how was it kind of progressing from that first initial freshman year to kind of doing the things that, you guys went on to do?
Yeah. So the first year, I look at that as like the growing pain year, and it was tough. Like it was some tough times. Like even at quarterback, I mean, it was some times where like noise from the outside, was getting to me. And it's, I'm looking back at it and, you're thinking, hey, I'm the number one player in the state, this and that. However, like I said, you're stepping onto another level. Like, no, everybody has been that or this, at that level. You got all first team all state guys, out there on offensive defense. So I think for me, like the first year, finding a way to kind of get over the hump. And when I say get over the hump, I went through a lot of arm troubles. And when I went through those arm troubles, there was a lot of negative talk like, hey, I don't know if he'll be able to, make it at this level. As far as
Let me
ownership wise. Mhm.
internally, you're having this dialogue, or you're hearing that from like staff,
No, this
like
is so not necessarily staff, Mike. But like as an athlete, when you're performing your best, right?
sure,
And when you're struggling,
yeah,
right? When you're struggling. So it was kind of one of those things where I knew I wasn't at the point that I needed to be the starter. I knew
mhm.
that, right? Um, but was the potential of I don't think I was really showing enough my first year for people to be like, he's not ready now, but he's gonna be ready.
Yeah,
So
yeah, progressive,
with
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so with that, here I am, Mike, on Tech sideline.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Here I
oh
am
yeah.
looking up stuff after the sprint, after the practices and all that.
The
Yeah,
forums.
forms.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if Randall's the guy. I mean, I've been out there to practices. He doesn't throw the ball as well. His arm strength is maybe not be as good to be a college quarterback. So I'm just not sure. If he's gonna be that guy. And with that, on top of that,
Mm.
I'm feeling myself like through the practices, like I'm like, man, like I'm not. This is not like the success like I want to be having. And then from inside with coaching, I mean, he wasn't helping. You know what I mean? At that point, my first quarterback coach was Ricky Bussell,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. Like he was coaching me up, and he was coaching me up hard, but I just wasn't getting it done. And I hadn't been in that position where I wasn't just able to have success right off the bat. Just come out there and do it, and people are like, oh yeah, 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 like okay, we see it. That's the guy. Like
Interesting point.
I hadn't been on the other side.
Yeah.
So that was really like a growing point for me, man. I remember a couple of times crying in my room back in
Mm.
Cochran, talking to my parents, like, and they just like, listen, you know who you are, you know what you can do, you
Mm.
know who you believe in, you know who your faith is in.
Sure.
You just keep doing it, you keep pushing through. So going through that first season,
Mm.
um, after that first season, as far as my goals and what I wanted to do, my first thing was I said, I'm gonna get stronger. Like I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
get stronger, I'm gonna get bigger. So therefore, my arm strength is not gonna be a problem. Now the mobility and all like that was cool. Like I mean, I knew, from that standpoint,
Yeah.
like that was the plus. So you can move, you can scramble and do all that. But can you throw the ball efficiently enough? Is your arm strong enough to get things done? So after that first year, that was basically my project, my goal for myself was look, you're gonna get bigger, you're gonna get stronger, and your arm is not gonna hurt. Like after throwing, you're gonna be able to withstand throwing all those balls that we do in practice and doing that because I didn't come from throwing 100 balls a day in practice. So when I started in it, I felt like my arm was gonna fall off. I mean, nobody cared, but that was that was just one of those things, and I cut it short. But I literally, I was literally felt like somebody was punching me like in my arm. You know what I mean? You wake up the next day and your joint is just sore. And it wasn't
Oh
ever
yeah.
shoulder, it was never elbow. It was like right in my bicep, tricep area. And I'm just like, man, I mean, even lifting my arm like over my head, I'm like, man, this is like I feel like my arm's gonna fall. So what I would do is I had a wrist protector. And what I would do, I would tape the wrist protector so tight that basically it was like cutting off the circulation to my arm so that I could make it through practice.
What?
Yes.
Man.
Every day, my day, I'm getting milk, getting my arm, like with
Oh yeah.
milk, getting it milked and
Oh,
all that.
oh
And I
yeah.
mean, it was helping, but I'm like,
Wow.
I'm not gonna be able to recover till the season is over. I just can't. So I'm just going to fight through it and do what I can do. So that first season, basically, it felt like I was going through the season with after somebody punched me in my arm every day,
Oh man,
like
that's
bad pain,
wild.
man. Yeah, like it was
Oh
bad.
man.
It
I
was
had no
bad.
idea.
And when I'm as a quarterback, I'm like, I mean, what can I if I ain't got no arm?
Safety. You better.
Yeah, it's time to move the defense. You know what I mean? Like, what can
Safety.
I do? Yeah, I can't argue with nobody if I can't throw. So
Right.
that was kind of my situation, like my freshman year. So it was just a lot of up and down, like a lot of mental warfare.
Can I be
Oh
transparent
man.
with you? Can I be
Yeah,
transparent with you?
yeah,
What I remember of your freshman year is you throwing the ball and being transparent with you.
yeah.
The ball could have had more zip on it and had
Correct.
slightly tighter spirals at the time,
Yes.
right? And
100
so I
facts.
and I,
100%.
I remember thinking not negative, just I just remember thinking that on some passes, and so that's part of why I always appreciated your journey there at Tech, us together, because I seen that. I didn't even know you were injured.
Yeah.
I don't remember that part. You don't, you
Yeah.
got your tunnel bit,
Yeah, your tunnel vision.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And I didn't, now we've graduated 20 years ago, and now I'm just
Mhm.
hearing a story of something that was what 24 years ago. I had no idea.
Yep. Yep. And it started from the summer, Mike. So I basically fought through it to become the backup, but that problem started early. And I was never able to overcome it because there was really no break, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, to really
Oh
heal.
yeah.
And then it wasn't like after that, I didn't have time to like recover and really get stronger, really get bigger because I'm coming in, out of high school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't have that summer, those 2 summer sessions or that spring to kind of get through it. So yeah, man, that was weird. They was calling me Joe Dirt. I was they was killing they was killing me, man. And I knew what I knew. You know how you know what you're capable of,
Yeah.
but when you're not producing, you know that too. And so I was well aware, like, I mean, they ain't telling no lies. I know I'm not that guy, but that's the guy that I'm showing. So
Right.
that was really the hit of my first year. But
Yeah, dang.
so moving on to the next year in the spring, what I said about it moving through the summer, my goal was to get bigger, get stronger. That was probably the biggest physical transformation that I've had throughout any year in sports that I've done. So that from that first year, I think I was like 208. By that summer or through the next year, I was 225.
Gentry.
Dang.
Gentry,
Gentry.
Iron Mike Gentry,
Yeah.
Iron
So
Mike Gentry,
summer.
solid, strong as I've ever been.
Yeah.
Made a world of difference. And from that point on, like I never had those issues. I never had those issues again with my arm moving
Just
forward,
from getting stronger.
just from getting stronger.
Wow.
Yep. And
Yeah, dang.
that was my turning point, like in my career, was that off season after my freshman year.
Well, and that's, I mean, that's good. That's putting the freshman 15 in the right way
In
of
the
doing
right
it,
way.
right?
The right
But
way.
yeah, I mean, and on top of that, coming in with, it's one of those things that sports has this way of maturing you extremely fast, right? I mean, I went through something similar in a sense, right? Of my senior year of high school, I hit like 550, was breaking all the records. We were coming off our third straight state championship, feeling good. And my freshman year at
Yeah.
Stanford, I think I hit 206. So, it's kind of that same of like, oh man, wait a second. Like I got to figure this out. And like you said, I mean, kind of that those moments of the adversity and
Yeah.
working through that adversity. I mean, again, now you talked about kind of the physicality of the freshman year versus those
Mhm.
older guys, but
Yeah.
now from the maturing standpoint, coming into the next year bigger, stronger, and so much more just mentally mature, right? I mean, it had to feel a lot better and confident in yourself,
Yes.
moving forward.
Yes.
And so then, I mean,
Absolutely.
translating that and implementing that. I mean, what was that like?
So it felt different. It felt totally different. Like you said, not from the physical standpoint. I mean, I felt way better, but I think the icing on the cake was from the mental standpoint and so that's what I tell people because I say, even though my freshman year didn't go how I wanted it to, and I was the backup, being the backup allowed me to go through some things and to see some things that I was able to carry on to the next year. That if I redshirted, I wouldn't been able to go through. So I don't regret being the backup my freshman year because it really taught me a lot. And I believe that was really one of the biggest reasons why mentally I was able to that next year be so much better, not only physically but mentally. So
And when you say your
great.
freshman year, let's clarify for people.
Mhm.
You playing your freshman year, or at least dressing your freshman
Yes,
year? Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
true freshman year, straight out of high school, as the backup, played a couple games. In this day and age, I still would have some eligibility. Uh,
Yes, you would. You could play
yeah,
nine. You can play
yeah.
nine now, I think.
Yeah. They're moving it. That's the plan to move to 9. So
I was like,
Yeah.
I think there's only 12 games. I don't know
yeah,
what's happening.
just give him an extra year. Just give him an extra year. You can play 9 games. Like
Nine.
man,
That's all. Give me nine. I'm happy
a
with
full
you. You play
season.
great. You play great 9 games. That's all I need
That's a
from
full season, man. Like wow, no, that's cool. But yeah, that definitely, man, was what they say. Um what a world of difference a year makes. And in that
Yes.
situation, for me, it physically and mentally, um, I mean, it was game changer.
you. And during that time, did you have a specific coach that spoke into you? I know. Obviously, your parents had played an incredible,
Mhm.
amazing part of your life and your success. But
Mhm.
what was going on outside of your own thoughts? Like, was there anybody that you were speaking to during that time? Because what I have found with all these sports stories, there's a time, I don't care if it's at the pro level, college level, or youth level, high school level, or youth level, there's a time where you basically, I can say other things, but you got to dig in.
Yeah.
You got to dig in, and
Mhm.
hopefully you have support around you that you can. Was there anybody that was there for you, and was there anything that was said or done that helped you get through those times?
Well, there was a couple situations, but I'll say for one, and it's crazy because he reminds me of this all the time. So
Yep.
Keith Burnell, running back at Tech. After my first year, he took me. He said, "Listen, little bro," he said, "I'm gonna show you what you need to do in the weight room. You're gonna get stronger, and once you get stronger, he was like, it's gonna make a world of difference." We talk about that. We talk about that. So that's one key moment. I really don't. I don't think I ever really spoke about that like outwardly, to like new or anything like that. But Keith
Sure.
Burnell, he came to
Okay.
me after that season and he said that to me, and I have to truly say like that was facts, 100% facts what he said because like I said, my arm never felt the same. Um, the
Mhm.
other person was we had a coaching change, a
Yeah.
quarterback coach, um, Kevin Rogers
Yep.
came in my
Yeah.
sophomore after my freshman year, and it was at the time looking back at it, it really was like a symbolism of out with the old, in with the new, not just from a coaching standpoint, but with
Mhm.
me as a player.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
done with the freshman guy. You're
Yes.
stronger, you're smarter now. Now I'm gonna put this person in your life, which is like a breath of fresh air, who really doesn't know that person from last year, other than probably what people were saying, but gets a chance to see you, and he recruited me out of high school.
Yeah. Give a little bit of
Okay.
Coach background. Give a little bit where he came from, who he worked with. Super
So,
famous. Yeah.
so Coach Rogers, he was at Syracuse with Donovan McNabb,
Yeah.
and then after a while, he's with the Vikings, coaching Brett Favre. Had a stint with them. I mean, and for a while at Tech, and I want to say, man, I can't. He was somewhere else right before um, when he was recruiting me. But Donovan McNabb was the guy like when he got to Tech, and he'd call him Don. Yeah, Don, yeah, Brian, Don, da 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 da. And it really was kind of, a similar situation as far as like that time during the mobile quarterback,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and Donovan at that time he was killing, like he was making moves. So
Yeah.
you got a guy who had just come from coaching a guy similar with a similar, skill set
Yes.
to myself. So it was he he changed the game for me, um, opening up like my mental as far as the way I look at things, and kind of just taking what I have done my first year, what I had built on going into my second year, and then getting to learn from somebody who was kind of seeing me as, it was kind of like a fresh set of eyes
Yeah.
again, seeing the new me. Um, so man, he taught me so much. And I always say and I always tell him, and small world, he came from William and Mary. So
I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
came from William and Mary. So I spoke to him when I took the job and everything. He was always checking on me and asking what I was gonna do. But during that time, man, like he definitely was what I needed
Yeah.
to take the next step.
Love that, man. Love,
Yeah.
love
That's
that.
a that's awesome, and that breath of fresh air is always nice. And so we've kind of been it's been kind of fun seeing this different perspective based on the different sports. So when you were playing at Tech, and starting to have some of those successes that you were having, you know, how did your mind shift from, you know, the team and all the success that we're having at Tech to what's next, right? I mean, was it the league? Was that the goal, or was it, we're going to go out here and win these ACC's championships? What was kind of how did you balance that mentality of the team success managing through college versus your own personal development for your career and what might come next?
So the way that I always looked at it, Jake, was like my personal development um, will come, right? My main focus was team success, right? I always felt like if our team is successful, then other things that come along with success will naturally just come. So as
Oh
long,
yeah.
but in order to get that, like you're putting in the work, like you know what I mean, you're putting in that work, knowing like on the other end of all this work needs to come wins, and we need to have some type of success,
Yes.
right eyes, you know what I mean, to get on you. So that always focusing on what I could do to help the team win. And then of course, once I became the starter, that was like man, like now it's time to work even harder. Like now it's time to establish yourself as the leader of the team for other people to see you. For to the community of Blacksburg, to when they think about Virginia Tech, they're thinking about something special going on. And we all know, like at the quarterback position, when there's success around a team, I mean, eyes are always focused whether you're winning or you're losing on
Oh
the
yeah.
quarterback. So you're naturally getting the limelight. But the legacy of what you want to leave, you just have to keep putting in that work. And my mindset, it never really changed. Like my mindset never really changed of what I wanted to do. I wanted to win. I wanted to win championships. I wanted to win MVPs. Like I wanted to put my best foot forward to have the best career possibly that I could have, and then the rest would take care of itself.
No, absolutely. And it's such a good way to look at it. I mean, we've been kind of talking about this, me and Mike, that college was it's really that ultimate time for the team, right? For that name on the front of your jersey. A lot of
Yeah,
times when you get into the professional world,
right.
it shifts, right? It's different. My teammates are now a lot of times my competition of if there's a spot, for me in double A ball, well, it's either him or me, right? And so you kind of lose that semblance of the team structure, and so college for having that time frame in your life is an awesome thing to go out there and win for the team and the university and be a part of something much bigger than yourself, right? And so
Absolutely.
with all that team stuff that went into play and all the successes you guys started to have, when did you know that the next level was possible?
Mhm. So I would probably say after my junior year, and it's crazy because we really didn't have the year that we should have had my junior year. Probably the most talented team out of all my years at
Yes.
Tech,
Yep.
and the most disappointed team
Yep.
out of all my
Yep.
years at Tech. I really
Yep.
thought like that was. I was like, man, we gonna do it. Like this year, like we are gonna do it. And we started out hot,
So
and we
much talent.
so much talent, and we
So much talent.
slowly we fell out. I mean, two first rounders on
Yeah.
that team. What should we probably? Well, I know we had multiple draft picks. I'm thinking off the top of my head. I know D'Angelo and KJ, but we
Yeah.
had we had a lot of guys
A lot of
from that team that
because that same team came a lot of the guys that came back the next year we got
yeah
we took it a step up
took it a step
with
up
probably less
with
talented
less
top end probably
less talent top end at the time.
at the time.
At the time, but
Yeah.
as those guys grew, because that year, I mean, we had all those freshman receivers my senior year.
Yes.
That turned out to be probably arguably the best group of wide receivers to come through Tech. I mean,
So good.
I would argue that.
Yeah.
But after my junior year, kind of similar to high school, you start to see like, hey, the rankings of, where quarterbacks stand. You start to see preseason,
Mhm.
this and that. You're on the cover of some magazines out there, so you start to receive a little notoriety and kind of hear what people are saying about where you may rank or where you're projected to go. And I had a couple of guys, like I said, from that junior year season that went to the pros, that guys that I came in with. So I'm like, man, now I'm starting to kind of smell it, going into my last year of, hey, this is it. Like we got a chance to do something special. And ironically, that first year moving into the ACC, even with even with the success that we have had like throughout the years, like they picked us like sixth or seventh.
Yeah, we're down far. I remember,
Yeah, we were down. It was at least six or seven. I remember clearly.
yeah,
We were down like seventh or sixth or seventh in the ACC preseason. Um, and they're looking at our roster, and we had talent, but we were young at the receiver position for the most part. But we had a great group of seniors. Like
yeah,
our senior leadership, on that team. And that's what you say. You talk about college and you talk about a team,
Yeah.
like your leadership, like that college, that guys you put blood, sweat, and tears in, for 4 years.
Oh yeah.
That kind of overrides a lot of different stuff before you get to, talking about how much I'm getting paid. It's really for the love, and it's really for, hey, let's do this together so we all can get paid. That's the
Yes.
thing. And so I started to kind of see some of the writing on the wall as far as, hey, I'm gonna get an opportunity, to get looked at this year. Like, we're gonna be in a school just from moving into the ACC alone.
Yeah.
I knew that the limelight was gonna be bright, and USC first game.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
right.
yeah. So
That's
I'm
right.
like, oh yeah, we got a chance. Like, everybody gonna be watching this game. We got a chance to, do some special things. And so from that standpoint, it wasn't like, I can't say that it was just jumping out like, oh, Randall, he's, sure locked to be in the NFL. However, I knew that I was good enough to at least get a shot.
Get in the
Yeah.
camp.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
knew I was good enough to at least get a shot, and the right opportunity, would definitely make or break, that. So yeah, that's how I felt going through my senior year.
Oh man, yeah, that's awesome. And so when, the that kind of opportunity came, I mean, how was that? How was just navigating that next step in your journey?
So it was awesome. And let me step back a second, because that senior year, I mean, was like a remarkable year. And
So
to
far.
answer your question, like how I started to feel, I started to feel more and more like locked in, as far
Hmm.
as, oh, we're doing the right things. We went on a win streak, and by the time we got to our last game against Miami, it was for the ACC championship, and I was also the game that was going to decide who was going to be player of the year in the ACC, whether
Okay.
me or Brock Berlin from Miami.
Yep. Yep.
And
Down in Miami.
down in Miami, down in the Orange Bowl, and we ended up winning that game. That sealed the deal.
Yes, we
Sealed us
did.
the Sugar Bowl. Sealed me the ACC Player of the Year. So I'm like, yeah, I'm right. At this point, I'm like, oh yeah, nah, I'm ACC Player of the Year. Like, I'm going 7 round. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Come
going
a
seven
long way.
round. Like, I mean, at the bare minimum, I'm gonna get drafted
Yeah.
somewhere.
Come a
Being ACC
long
Player
way.
of the Year. And that's literally, honestly, that's really how I thought. Like, I'm like, man, I know I'm gonna get drafted. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be high, but I should get drafted after being the MVP of the league.
Oh
Sure.
Um,
yeah.
and I was wrong. Um,
Right.
I was I was wrong. I was wrong. Listen, let me tell y'all, I was hurt. Like, I was hurt. I remember, I can, in my parents' house, first day the draft goes by. Like I said, I'm not. It'd be awesome, but I'm like, man, I don't know. And it's crazy because now, stuff starts popping in my head. I remember it was the Senior Bowl, and I went down to the Senior Bowl. I played in the Hula Bowl, but I went to the Senior Bowl just to network. And they took an alternate at the Senior Bowl. The alternate that they took, Brock
No, it was
Berlin.
a Brock. Oh no. It's a
I
Brock.
get that. I
Oh,
look. I said they took Brock Berlin as the alternate.
oh man.
No disrespect, Brock, but
Yeah.
I'm the ACC Player of the Year.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, no disrespect. I'm like, so when I saw that, like, it was like, all right, well, that it hurt me a little bit. I mean, it
Yeah.
hurt my pride a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But fast forward to draft day. After the first day goes by, I'm like, all right, cool. Second day comes up. I'm like, all right, second day somewhere, please. So the rounds are going by, fourth, fifth, sixth. By the time the sixth round gets to the sixth round, I walk upstairs by myself.
Oh.
Family was downstairs. I said, I gotta go upstairs. Like, at this point, I'm like, man, I'm really not gonna get drafted. So I'm waiting. Every pick by pick, 7th round. Phone ring. I'm like, oh shit, who is it? So by this time, it's getting to like the last couple picks. Phone starts ringing. Realize that's not part of my story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not part of my story. And I get calls from a couple different teams: Arizona Cardinals, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Atlanta Falcons, and they're calling trying to make these free agent deals. Hey, we'll offer you this and that, 7,500. We'll offer you 10 grand, as a signing bonus. And, we'd like for you to come in. Like this before the draft even ended. Like we're just like, hey, we're not going to draft you, but we'd like you to come to camp. So now it's a situation where I'm trying to choose what's going to be best for me, maybe
Yeah.
to get on. Like what are the situations? Like what's the best opportunity, for me to get in? And um, I mean, I really felt like I made the right decision. And the decision was to go, to Atlanta. And I was on the phone with the Falcons, and they were like, "Yeah, we want to take you as a free agent, but first we need to talk to Mike to make sure everything is cool." So, and I always thought, and I was like, "Well, like, why would they want to talk to Mike? Like, why would we gotta ask Mike if everything's cool?" So I got to think at this point, I didn't even like me and Mike didn't have a relationship at this point.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
I
Yeah.
didn't
that.
have a relationship with Mike
Okay.
because he,
Okay.
like I said, he left before I got there. So my relationship was with Marcus.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't really.
So when I put two and two together, I said, "Oh, they got to make sure it's okay because they want to know if he has ill feelings toward me with anything through Marcus."
Got you.
That's
Yep.
when I really that was one of my light bulb moments. I was like, man, like this is really a business. This is really thorough.
Yeah.
Like,
Outside of just football,
yeah,
just
outside of just football, like, yeah, like,
Yes.
if he comes back and says, nah, my brother, I can't really fool with him, then that's it. Like, they're not gonna, take me on, account of their starting quarterback, having an issue. So,
Yeah.
I thought that always sticks out of my head on that day when they called me. And they was like, yeah, we gotta ask Mike to talk to him and see if he's okay. And I don't even know. I can't remember if I asked him if they ever asked because we're good, really good friends now. If they had even talked to him or asked him anything, but that was said right before I signed with the Falcons
Dang.
back in '05. So
Yeah, that's a good introduction to the professional
yeah, to
business side of it.
oh, okay, that's the business. Like one man can take me down. Like that'd be it. So but yeah, that was that that signing or that decision that I made then, I really thought gave me the best opportunity to be able to make an NFL team. And at that time, it was Mike, Vic, Matt Schaub,
hmm
and Ty Detmer.
Okay.
Ty
hmm
Detmer. And, Ty Detmer was on the end. And that's why I thought, because Ty Detmer at the time, I believe was like 35,
Okay.
36
Okay.
years old. So I knew he was on the end of his career. And yeah, that's how that went down.
It's wild.
Dang.
I didn't know you that. I thought you had already always had a relationship with. And when we say Mike Vick, that
Like
is.
Vic, yes.
Yeah, just to clarify. And so, how long were you in the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you made a decision that you were ready to transition out of the NFL, what was that like for you?
So I was on a practice squad my first year in Atlanta. That was '05. And even that experience was a little different because I didn't realize like when you're on a practice squad, especially as a quarterback, like you're really like you're kind of like the flex guy. When I say the flex guy, like they'll take you off the practice squad to put another position on there because they really don't need you because they already got three quarterbacks
Right.
on the team.
Yeah.
And in my situation, it was kind of messed up because I think we played 5 preseason games that year, but I barely played at all. Like I mean barely, maybe a couple snaps in
Yeah.
5 games. So I didn't get any film. So therefore
Oh,
I had no
yeah.
preseason film to go anywhere else to shot myself to say, oh man, like Randall balling in preseason. Let's, if they put him on practice squad, we might pick him up. No, it was kind of like being out another year, you're not playing.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
um so that was kind of my situation. So they put me on the practice squad my first year, and then the second year they signed me back. So I was kind of back and forth my first year. That was kind of like the different part of it. I was like, man, like I thought I'd be there the whole year, but I'm on for 6 weeks. They took me off. I'm off for 5 weeks, and then I went back and gained a lot of weight before I went back. And I'm at home waiting, eating. I put on about 10 pounds when I came back. Like, bro, what you been doing when you was at? Like, man, I thought y'all gonna bring you back the next week, man. It's been 6 weeks. It's been 6 weeks. I've been eating good, not doing nothing. What you thought I'm waiting on y'all, to bring me back? So yeah,
Oh,
that was funny. So they ended up bringing me back my second year, and they released Ty Detmer. So it's only three of us on there. So I'm the third guy. I'm like, oh yeah, this is all I've been waiting for, like opportunity.
Yeah.
And then they draft DJ Shockley out of University of Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with that, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not gonna say the writing was on the wall, but I knew I was facing an uphill battle. Not just from just from a playing standpoint, but also more so from a political standpoint. I mean, he's high school, Mr. Georgia,
Yeah.
University of Georgia, balled out. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
and they took him in the seventh round. I mean, yeah, they took him in it was either sixth or the seventh round that they took him. So it wasn't like a pick high enough for them to be like, oh yeah, you're definitely out. Like he's second round, you're gone. But it was enough for me to be like, if he does anything near close, and we're close in any way,
Yes.
he gets the edge, you know.
Yeah.
And so that was so my um long story short on that situation, how I ended up getting released is third preseason game. We're playing Tennessee Titans up there, and they tell us, they say, hey, neither one of y'all are gonna play this game. We're gonna play Mike, and then Matt Schaub is gonna play the rest of the game. So I'm like, all right, cool. Neither one of us gonna play. That's cool. We go in at halftime. They look at him and say, hey, DJ, you you're going in after the half. I'm like, okay, well, cool. He played third quarter. I'm gonna play the fourth. Nah, he played the rest of the half.
Wow.
They called me the next day. Next day, I get a call from Les Snead. Les Snead is GM Chiefs, GM of the Chiefs now. I get a call. My phone ring. No, I ain't answering.
I'm
No,
answering.
I ain't
I'm
answering.
not answering.
Man, I ain't answering this call. Look, look. I sent him the voicemail. I ain't even answer the phone. I was like, man, I'm not answering that call.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, so, there's nothing good that's coming from there. So I call him back. Hey, Brian, this is Les, man. Yeah, man, I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're gonna need you to come to the facility today. Um, we're gonna be letting you go today. So so I go up there, man, grab my book, go up to see the coaches, go see Jim Moore Jr. He's like, hey, keep fighting, give me that speech. And then I see Coach Greg Knapp, rest in peace. He was office coordinator at the time. I walk into his office. He's like, kind of just like shakes his head. He's like, there's nothing really I can tell you. He's like, you did everything we asked you to do, and I mean, it's not on you. Like, I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
That's just not a
Yeah.
conversation with. He's like, you did everything we asked you to do, and I really had a good
Yeah.
season. I did. He's like, but he's like, yeah, there's nothing I can say. That's how the conversation went. He's like, I appreciate you. Just best of luck. And as I'm walking out the hall, like all the coaches are coming out. And it's shoot, it was a. I could probably name a couple of the coaches that because they're at other places now, like doing really big things, and they were all just like shaking their heads, like, man, best of luck, man. Like we're sorry.
Yeah.
And that I mean that hurt more than being like, hey man, good luck, man. You know, have a great life. You know what I mean? Because it was like one of the things, you could see, and it's kind of like, we know this isn't exactly like you probably should still be here,
Right.
but we can't keep you here because DJ Shockley's here. No
Right.
knock on DJ Shockley. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
that was kind of the situation, and that really put me in a place like I was once again like that adversity, like that mental, like man,
Oh yeah.
like dang, this is tough. Like this
Well,
is
it's ruthless, right?
it's
I mean,
ruthless.
that part of it, when you start to see the cutthroat nature of professional sports. I mean, I remember people getting, I was the worst, people getting pulled off the bus. Or one guy, I remember we showed up because, you take bus rides in minor league ball, and one
Yeah,
guy just shows up to the field and they're like, hey, don't put your stuff on the bus today. This is you're gonna drive to the airport and go home. And it's like, oh my gosh, this
you want
is
to see a grown man cry? Like what? I mean, like your
just
heart,
how
like
quickly,
man.
yeah, that dream, can just get taken away from you. I mean, it's
Mm,
it's your whole life's work can be taken
mm.
away any given day. And like you said, I mean, you don't even know. It
You
could
don't.
be, it's just a phone call. And so
It's just
that
a phone
that
call.
anxiety of always sitting on edge is especially, I mean, you touched on it earlier, especially when you know you're not playing as good as you could play. I mean, I saw that in baseball. You get in a little slump, and it's like, oh man, it's coming. Oh, for 4 day, this could
Oh,
be it. It's
my
coming,
last
man.
day.
Yeah, and so again with that kind of adversity, I mean, how was navigating that, that next period of the release comes and then what comes next. I mean, how was that?
Yeah, so it's tough, man, because it's like once that happens, the further and further like you get out, like without like having like playing time, it's kind of like, and then the funniest question, like it's crazy because they're like, what film do you got?
Mhm.
I got college film. I got I got 3 snaps in the preseason.
Yeah, I
Like,
got a couple snaps.
yeah, I got a couple of snaps. So then it's like, well, you're not playing. You can't really, keep showing people that you're able to, produce. Nobody's pulling up practice film. And then your college film just really becomes worthless or useless, in a way. And, you're just trying to navigate, like, hopefully, somebody, or hopefully you just get a shot. And I mean, I was blessed, man. Like, I look at my experience in the NFL like as a blessing because a lot of people don't even get to, touch or even get the chance to experience, a practice squad or, a training camp.
Oh
And
yeah.
so after that Atlanta, man, like I had a couple good stories, man. Like, so one story, I went down to Tampa Bay mid-season. Chris Sims, Chris Sims tore his spleen or did something with his spleen, middle of the season. And so in that situation, like every game that I'm watching nothing but for quarterback injury. I mean, that's just
Yes.
like what you're looking for. Like, did anybody get hurt today? Like, is anybody hurt? So as soon as somebody gets hurt, I'm like, lo and behold, I'm watching this game. The next day I get a call from Tampa Bay. I'm like, oh, hey, listen, I don't know if you've seen, but what happened to Chris Sims, but we want to fly you down here to give you a workout. And remember, Tampa Bay was one of the teams that called me
Yeah, yeah.
after the draft. They're
Yeah.
one of the teams. So they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, we know we're gonna bring you down. And so I go down there. It's about 9 of us. It's me, it's Sean King, Tommy Maddox from
Okay.
Pittsburgh, and then you have probably 5 other undrafted like myself that are there.
Yeah.
We're out there, we run the 40. We're throwing to receivers. Like it's like a real workout. So after the workout, they bring us in and they bring me and Sean King in to talk at the end. And I'm like, man, like, okay, I'm close. Like this is good. So then they like, okay, they're like, yeah, we're gonna bring you in. I'm like, God, thank you. I can't believe it. Off like an open workout, I'm like, oh yeah, this is crazy. So I end up coming back down there. I flew back, came back down there. I was down there for 1 week. And when I
Oh,
tell you I didn't do anything,
oh,
I just went to the
man.
meetings.
No
Oh,
way.
man.
I went to the meetings, went to practice. I didn't throw, I didn't throw a rep of like a drill. I mean,
Oh,
of like a
no.
drill that meant anything. I might have threw
Oh,
like pat and go. Like pat and go is
sure.
probably the extent of what I did. Other than that, I'm just standing for a whole week. I was standing around for a whole week collecting a check. And at that time, I think shoot, they had what Derek Brooks, Joey Galloway,
Okay.
uh,
Oh yeah.
the quarterback.
Was Leftwich down there? Or was that before or after?
No, that must have you talking about as a player or coach?
Okay. Player.
Player. No,
Did he play
that
that? I think.
I
Did he play
don't remember if he did, but if he did, he wasn't there at that time.
that? Okay.
So at that time, they had Tim Rattay
Okay.
and they had Brad Gradkowski.
Okay.
So Brad Gradkowski became the starter um, down there. So he ended up starting. He ended up playing for a couple of teams though and doing all right. But that was just kind of like the situation. Like I mean, I was just like blown away just being able to go down there, get a workout, get signed. Like it's like, oh yeah,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
still in there. Like I was pumped. You know what I mean? I'm still in there. And then, I ain't do a daggone thing. I was just down there for a week. Got to see, Coach Gruden, in action and things like that. So it was a cool experience, man. Like that was cool. And then my next shot was after that. So that was 2006 after I got released. So 2007 comes up, and I ain't going through my whole little thing, but these were just kind of like interesting experience. So 2007, I'm working out about to go to NFL Europe. I'm talking to the Chicago Bears, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna bring you in to go to NFL Europe." I'm like, "Cool, all right, that's my next plan because I need film." I'm like, "I can go over there get
Oh
film,
yeah.
get my name back out there, do good things. So this is probably around this is during the springtime. I get a random call out the blue. Now at this time point, I hadn't like been throwing, like I hadn't been doing nothing. Like I'm back at home, kind of just waiting to see what my next move is gonna be, navigate.
Yes.
I get a call out the blue. I get a call from the Steelers. The Steelers are like, hey, we want to bring you up here to throw, but we need you up here in 2 days. I'm like, oh shoot, all right, okay, yeah, let's do that. Definitely, like, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Like, I'm up there, so I fly up there, and I throw to the director of players. I'm throwing. So after one of their practices, I go in there, and it's me throwing to one of like GAs type guys, and they got all the coaches standing behind me, and I'm throwing to him. So I'm like, cool. I had a good workout, threw the ball well. They signed me on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, bro, like, listen, this is what I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like this is meant to be. So, I'm a Steeler fan. So that's
Yes.
like a dream come true. Like, I'm like, oh, this is a dream come true. I get to play for the Steelers. Like, I'm in camp, and it's funny because that same day when I was going back home, I'm looking at my phone and I'm looking at the waivers and looking at the signings. Chicago Bears and already signed another quarterback to go to Europe.
Wow.
Wow.
For a reason.
I mean, it was just.
Oh,
I was like, man, this is really like a cutthroat. Like
oh, it's crazy. Yeah, it's
this is
crazy. It's crazy. I mean, it's part of it is the how sustainable can you build your lifestyle to be able to do things like that, right? On a whim, change your life, up and move or move
yeah.
here. And, that's what I remember seeing it with some buddies that were married or had kids. And it's like, now your whole life is going to change in like, but how long, in baseball, we were making $5,000 a year. So, we were not thriving financially, but, just like, how can you support yourself for the longevity?
Yeah.
How can you make it so you can last? So when those opportunities come, I can say yes,
Mm-hmm.
because in that time, if you can't say yes, then it's over.
Done.
And so but that's crazy. They signed somebody for NFL Europe that same day.
Yeah. Yeah. The same day. Same day.
That's cold.
So what if I didn't get signed up for this trial? Like, then I'm back
That's cold.
to searching. But I mean, that was God. That was God was in that situation. So, and that's kind of, man, that's what I ain't in kind of like, I know like the situations I've come across, like, God has placed me in certain situations, certain positions to be able to live my dream,
Yeah.
maybe
Yes.
exactly how, I may have pictured it in the bright lights, but in the grand scheme of things, he allowed me to live my dream,
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
doing what I wanted to do. And so after that, man, I end up playing in Canada in Winnipeg. And Canada, Winnipeg had already had my rights. I ain't know nothing about that. Not I had no plans of ever going to play in the CFL, but they had got my rights when I was at Virginia Tech. So that was the first team that could sign me when I was available. And
Dang.
yeah, so
So how'd you find that out?
so what happens is they they were calling, asking. So like during
Okay.
that time of trying to do like NFL and being in between, they were calling and saying, hey, do you have interest in coming up here, to the CFL? And at the time, I'm like, no, I'm chasing my dream. So when that happened, contact back with them because they're the first team that has my right. They let me know, like, we got you.
Hmm.
And that's what ended up happening. And I went up there, and that is, I mean, honestly, the CFL was awesome. Like, I would love to play like long, like if you can't make it in the NFL, like that was the next closest thing to like being able to play football and have like a life playing football because financially, it was good enough for you to be able to do that because there's no I don't know single league. You ain't no farm league for football.
Yes.
NFL Europe was, but
Yes.
it wasn't like a something that you could sustain your life off of. So that was an awesome experience, man. Like going up there, and I was up there for 2 years. Now here's the thing about like Canada though. So Canada, like you talk about like cutthroat business like NFL, Canada is super cutthroat. Like it's like cutthroat to the point of where it's almost like there there are rules, but there are no rules. And what I mean by that is, I'll give you a perfect. This is the perfect example I give people. So I'm the backup quarterback my second year. I was the third string my first year. So we brought in a guy named Stephen LaFleurs. It's me and another guy. So we're going through the season. We get to about game 7, and starter gets hurt. Right? Oh, here we go. It's my time. Like, I'm fine. I'm up. I'm up. The same week, they call Michael Bishop. I don't know if y'all heard of Michael Bishop, Kansas
Yep.
State.
Yep. Kansas State. Yep.
Kansas
I
State. They
remember.
called Michael Bishop the same week. He had been in the CFL for a while, but he wasn't playing with nobody. They call him up. He comes up the same week and starts
Jeez.
the same week.
Said, okay. All
I
right.
said, wow.
Got it.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, I'm cut in the middle of
Oh,
the season.
man.
Wow.
The middle of the season. I never even got a chance to. Look, listen. I've
Wow.
seen some crazy things. They said they releasing me. I said, releasing me for what? Like, we're in the middle of the season. Yeah, they end up bringing in like 3 different quarterbacks middle of the season. Yep, and that was it. That was it for Canada right there. It
Wow.
was a bad situation, man. Like that. Like, I was cool. Like, I was grateful to be in the situation in the CFL, but that was just not a. It wasn't really a great situation as far as like trying to make it on a team. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Dang. Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
that was a super cutthroat story, man. I couldn't believe it. That was another time my heart just dropped.
Oh,
It's
man.
week 9. Y'all cut me in the middle of the season.
Let me get a couple
Can
more
I get a
weeks.
chance to start first?
Yeah.
Can I get a chance to play first?
Can I try? Let me try.
Yeah,
Let me try.
Let me try first before y'all
Uh,
cut me.
Let me try.
man,
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy. And so when the football stuff kind of started to the sunset started to come, I mean,
Yeah.
how was it kind of figuring out what's next for you?
So I started playing arena ball, and throughout my arena career, like, that's one of those things where we talk about you're playing and then you got a job as well.
Hmm.
So in the off season, I'm back home working at the golf course. That's when my golf game
Okay.
got really good because I was going to play and I was coming back playing golf, stepped my
Oh
golf
yeah.
game up, came to like almost a scratch handicap, during that time. But that was more so the transition because I knew, like, I can only, do this
Yes.
for a period of time. It's not enough money. I mean, literally, guys in arena you're making like $200, like a
Yeah.
$25 win bonus,
Yeah.
and
Hey,
yeah,
hey.
and you got to work a job. So I mean, you're getting by, but if you got other responsibilities,
Oh
there's
yeah.
no way like you can make it. So got married 2015. That was the that was kind of like my point of saying, all right, I'm on the phase of moving out of playing. It's not just me.
Yes.
I can't move. I can't scrape up and eat beans and scrape up nickel and dime, not eat a couple of whatever it may be. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I can't do that anymore. So I got to provide, and that was kind of like my transition. And then I want to start my family. So I'm 30. I was 35 when I had my first child. So that wasn't by accident. That was me wanting to play, me getting it out my system, as far as I
Yes.
know certain things are going to stop. So that was kind of like my point of, all right, you've done it. Like, you've been able to do this for a long time. You've been to China, you've been all these Tokyo, you've been all these places because of football. You used that as a vehicle. Now, if you want to start your family, like, it's time to transition out of it. And that's what I did. And to be honest with you, as transitioning, I didn't want to jump right back into football. Like, even after playing all that time,
Mhm.
Errol, you're gonna be a great coach. You're gonna do, this and this. You're gonna get into coaching. I didn't really have interest at the time. It was kind of like when I stepped away, like, I wanted to
Separate.
step away. I wanted to
Yes.
separate, from that. And what I ended up doing is I ended up taking a job at Newport News Shipyard. And
Okay.
at the time, like, I had my brother-in-law worked there. And he was like, hey, you should apply for all these jobs. And that'll be, it's the good benefits and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. I need some. I got, man. I didn't know what I was doing, fellas. I'm just applying. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get into
Hey,
the world, to the real world. And so I started applying for all these jobs. So I ended up getting a job as a in production control, and small world. So the guy who was my boss was one of the baseball coaches down here in our division down here. He knew of me. So that was it was a plus. You know, they always talk about your network
Oh yeah.
and how you treat people and your reputation,
Yes.
goes before
Yes.
you. So that was like my first, not my first, but that was like, okay, I get it. Like I get it now because, he easily could have went with somebody else. But, I really feel like, it was because of my reputation, because he knew who I was. He was like, okay, we'll give you the job. I did that. That was the plan was not necessarily to be there, but I was there 7 years.
Okay.
7 years. And it allowed me to just have flexibility to be able to coach basketball with my nephew and to do other things, with that because we know the football schedule is different. Like the sports schedule is your flexibility is it's
Yeah.
not much. Like you're very very strict of what you can do outside of football or whatever sport you're playing. So that's how I got into the shipyard and never would have thought. And I look back and it's crazy because I applied for all these positions. Like once I got in there and I realized what those positions were, I said, "Oh, if I'd have got one of those other jobs, no sir, I'm not hanging off no boat. I'm not hanging off no carrier. I'm you're not Rick. I'm not hanging off no side of no carrier climbing up.
Yeah.
No sir. So
So benefits ain't
yeah,
that good. They're not
yeah.
that good.
Nah, so God knew what he was doing when he placed me in the position, man. Once again, I was just blessed to get in that situation. And it really worked out and had all my kids, while I was there within that span. Four of them in that span.
Busy.
So yeah, that was
Well, and currently, talk a little bit about your position, man, and why you're excited about what you're doing, and
mm.
why you're excited about what you're doing now.
So man, this like I when I got out and like I said, when I stopped playing, I separated myself, from not wanting to be, right back in it. However, it's always been in me, right? Like
Oh yeah.
I just and I would tell myself, I would tell people because they always ask, "Hey, when you gonna start coaching? When you gonna do this? You should be a coach. You should be a coach." And it was kind of like, when my time is ready, like that was my take on it. When it's time for me to do it, the right situation will
Sure.
will come about.
Yeah.
Until then, I'm cool being patient. I'm not stressing. I'm not worried, about having benefits and things like that. I got those, so life was good. So I wasn't really stressing to get into coaching. But then it would be like little things that would come along like along the way. So I had a job when I first got to the apprentice school. There was a situation where they was like, "Hey, you should come be the quarterbacks coach here at the apprentice school." It didn't work out. So I'm like, all right, cool. It wasn't meant to be. Um, and then I'd have like certain like high school, people asking, "Hey, you should come." Nah, it's not the right situation, not the right time. Not what I got. My wife is pregnant. I gotta. I can't afford to do that. I can't afford to make
Oh
a
yeah.
decision right now. So
Yes, sir.
when this situation came along with William Mary with Coach London, um, you talk about things coming full circle. So Coach London recruited me out of high school. I remember he was at Boston College, and I'd
Yep.
run into Coach London like throughout the years, in different situations, whether he was coming down to speak at something or do something. And the final time I saw him, he came to speak at Bruton High School at their senior banquet for basketball. And he sat right beside me and we were talking. He was like, "You ever had any interest in coaching?" I said, "Yeah, coach." I said, "I do." I was like, "But, the situations just haven't been right for me to be able to just step out there and just start." So um, I'm just kind of just waiting for that opportunity. And that was probably a year and some change before
Okay.
he called me in January last year. And they had the quarterback position came open. And he was like, "Hey, look, you know, your name was brought up. There's a guy on our staff right now that we go to the same church." And he was like, "Your name came up in a meeting. I knew about you. I know what you're about. I think you would be a great fit. Um, but the thing is, like, we're on a short time crunch. Like, this is like January, like 20 something. And just like now, like we're about to start
Mhm.
spring on February 10th, start spring ball. So that's how it was when he asked me. And
Yes.
I said, well, coach, if the numbers make sense, then and it ain't gotta be great numbers. I said, but if the numbers make sense, coach, I'm gonna put in my 2 weeks tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'll put my 2 weeks in tomorrow. And we got to the numbers. I went home and talked to the wife. I said, this is something about this situation. Like it's time. It's something about
yeah,
that time for this to
Yeah.
for me to start. And here I am, about to be a year later. Yeah,
that's
February 10th, it'll be a year since I signed on. And I mean it took off running. Like when I got here, my first day was our first day of spring ball, like literally on the field.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, so it was moving. Like it was different, but everything was just moving so fast. I'm just trying to play catch up and doing all this. But being on that field though, like it was, man, like that excitement of seeing the players, like even being on the other side, like just being out there, like seeing the guys coaching the guys and the drills and the running and the camaraderie, the coaches, the staff meetings, like
Yeah,
being back around it, it was it was like, man, this is where you belong.
that's
Like
where
this,
you should be.
yeah, you
Yes.
should be right here in this situation. So here you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. I mean, I think that what you've touched on, and you've touched on it a few times now, is so important for those kids to hear. And I'm sure that they're very fortunate to have you in their lives now. But when you said your character and your reputation precedes you in a lot of these things, right? And it's such an important thing for athletes to understand. You touched on it earlier again with saying that football was this vehicle that allowed you to do so many great things, but
Mhm.
the networking side and not burning bridges and being a good person and going about it the right way and realizing that there's so much more about this life than this one vehicle, right? I think is such an important thing for the next generation to hear.
Yeah.
Right. But I guess, how is it for you stepping back into the college sport with it being such a different landscape than it was when we played, right? When it's even been funny now for me and Mike as we kind of step back into this landscape so much and just hearing how vastly different
Mhm.
collegiate athletics is now, versus what it was. I mean, how has it been for you to kind of get acclimated to this new age of college athletics?
Man, it's definitely the landscape of college athletics definitely changed, and it's crazy because it was like a couple years ago, like it was really just starting to dibble and dabble,
Mhm.
with the NIL and it really getting going, and talking about small deals and things like that, and how much the players should get and getting stipends, and I mean now you're looking at full blown $1 million deals
Oh yeah.
on the table, for these kids. So it's it's crazy because you when I was in college and I moved to the pros, totally different.
Hmm.
The dynamic of the business side with the money involved is totally different. The relationships you have with the guys become totally different.
Oh yeah.
The money is just it's a different, like college pro, different landscape, right? So now with kids getting paid and William and Mary being a FCS. I mean, compared to some of the bigger FBS programs, I mean, as far as the money goes, you're dealing with a smaller scale. Um, However, now it becomes a situation where all kids are looking for, man, can I get a break? Can I get a deal? Like if
Hmm.
I get this on film and I show out, I got an opportunity to go into the portal and get paid. So do I stay here or do I look for a place to get paid? And then the portal in itself, like the portal without the NIL makes it the wild, wild west, right? So now you got freshman kids who are like, okay, you know what? I'll try my luck at, a big time university. I don't know what's gonna happen. Get there, fifth on the depth chart. You know what? I'm good. I'm gonna go in the portal. Let me see if I can hop back to this FCS or whatever. Come down, have a see if maybe start, maybe get playing time, start. Boom, good year. You know what? I appreciate that. I got I got some film. Like I appreciate y'all, but I'm gonna go ahead and hop in the portal. Yeah, I'm bigger than y'all now. You know what I mean? Like I'm big. I'm big. I'm bigger than this now at this point. So, you got guys that are just would jump in. Now it doesn't work out for everybody,
Sure.
but even having the option
Yeah.
to even do it, you don't have to. He's making it so kids, you don't even have to face like adversity, like in the face. You can just run from it immediately.
Yes.
And there's no, I mean, there may be a consequence if you don't get picked up, but there's
Sure.
nothing stopping you from saying, hmm, you know what? Oh, he's gonna play in front of me. No, I'm not gonna develop here. I'm gonna see if I can go here
Right.
and get on the field. You
Right.
know, I'm gonna go fight for position here. So it's there's the pros and the cons, but it's the dynamic of how the kids are moving. Totally different, totally different mindset. Totally different.
Yeah, it's a different, I mean, how do you kind of navigate it, mentally with your
Mm,
staff? Is it, we're just going to pour into these kids and take it the same way we've kind of always done it? Or is, I mean, even talking to those
mm,
kids, it's just like you said, that's coming into it, the precedent has already been set as a
mm,
freshman in college that this is the new landscape. And so is it, how do you kind of navigate it in your day to day with the kids on the
mm,
field?
mm. So I think that the landscape, well, what you do is basically you have to show the kids that there's more. Like there's more value than just the money. Like when you're getting certain things, there's value in education at William and Mary here. You know, like you leave here, like you're people looking at on that look on that resume, and they're like, oh, William and Mary, okay, like it means something. So
Sure.
Hmm.
um, you have to really present the value of that, and then you get kids who really value not only the athletics
Yeah.
but also value what a school like Wham and Mary can do for you after football. So it's about putting together the full package.
Okay.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, that's really the only way you can really go about it. Like you're really looking at and recruiting kids and pouring into kids. Of course, you want the best kids you can get, um, but you have to pour into kids knowing that you may do everything you can and they still leave. However, you have to be able to offer them more than just, the monetary. So,
Yes, yeah,
Makes
that's
sense.
it's funny. It's interesting. I was just out last weekend at Stanford, talking to the baseball team, and a lot of that kind of same stuff was coming up, right? Of how does this immediate financial picture differ from a Stanford education, the Stanford network, the alumni, what you get from coming out of there, right? But
right. Mhm.
but for you, it's funny. It sounds like a lot of your recruiting pitch is very similar to your dad's recruiting pitch when you were a kid.
Absolutely. So and that's very true. And so for me, like this is the foundation of what I want to bring to a staff and what I stand on away from football is the same type of principles that my dad instilled in me and my brother when we were younger. So it's no different. And that's one reason why I love William Mary so much. And Coach London has done a great job as far as laying a foundation and sticking to that foundation of what we want this to be about. And what we want to stand for. Our motto is faith, family, football. So, I think as long as you're putting priorities in order, then and you stand on that foundation, what comes from that and what you pour into these kids, I mean, that's what you do. We can't stop, like I said, we can't stop a kid from, hey, if you want to go after that, go after the bag, after 1 year having success and, make that decision. Like I'm not here to beg you to try to stay. However, while you're here, I'm going to pour into you. And hopefully that's enough. That'll at least have you thinking like, this is something that I want to stay for.
Oh, absolutely. Man, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I like those pillars. I mean, but so how has it been? This is always funny when you get into coaching. How has it been for you personally now being on the other side of the table? It's always, well, I coached high school baseball for 8 years,
Uh,
but being on that end, it gave me a much better appreciation for what the coaches are doing. A lot of times as a player, you don't see, what the coaches are doing. And obviously, they're the micro of for me like being in the cage with the hitter was awesome. It was the best. But then there's so much more to being a coach. I mean, how has your like appreciation for the coaching side changed now being in it versus when you
yeah.
were a player looking at your coaches?
Listen, there's so much more stuff that you don't even this stuff that you don't even think about. You never even like fathom thinking about some of the stuff like that coaches do. You look at it. I mean, for instance, like get get something like this, right? So we get a notebook. However, who you think putting this together? Like who you think who you think is making these printouts? You know what I'm saying? Going through this stuff, to get that done. Like, and then besides from the football, like I told Mike Vick, me and him talk like I said yeah, it's different, ain't it? I said you
Oh yeah.
from being a player. I said yeah. He's like there's so much other stuff that you have to think about. I mean, you got the schoolwork, you got the kids, you got the mental health, with kids. And you got, the playbook. You got to get that right. We got to worry about installs. Hey, you got your drills. You got your equipment for the drills. Let's see. You got a kid that's not doing well in class. You might need to follow up with him. You might need to call him, get it together with him. He didn't have a good day. Let's talk to him. Then you got outside of our football community events, staff meetings. I mean, it's so like I'm not gonna say it's overwhelming because it's cool because it's football, but at the same time, there is a lot of moving parts. I mean, it is not just like so. I have my own liaison. I'm professional development, and then you got, another coach who's dealing with the weight room and academics. Then you got another recruiting coordinator. Then you have somebody who's doing with the player development. So there's so many hats and jobs that are
Oh yeah.
are being done behind the scenes where it never really stops before you even get to the football. Like there could be a whole day spent on something that, has nothing to do with the X's and O's, that are going out in the field. And then you get into recruiting, which is a giant in itself. So so that's why my when I started last year and how things were moving, I mean, 3 or 4 months in, I'm going down to Atlanta recruiting. I'm
Oh
down
yeah.
by myself, going to schools. I'm like, man, like this is like I don't even know what to say. What do I say? Like, how do I go in here? How do I walk up to the school? So I'm trying to figuring some things out. The guys have been great. We have a lot of great coaches on this staff. Have been awesome, helping me out along the way because it definitely can get overwhelming. Players ain't got
Oh yeah.
as a player, you ain't got nothing to think about. Nothing.
Yes.
You got nothing on your plate. For real. There's no excuse. You ain't got nothing on your plate as a player. Yeah, coaches is
Oh man, yeah, that's funny. And it's not to mention that you know, kids are a lot different now, right? Than when we were, I mean, just with social media and everything that's going
man.
into it, right? It's
Yeah.
kids are a little different. Those 18, 19-year-olds are much different than when we were 18 and 19. There's a lot of similarities.
There is. It's crazy. Now that sometimes they maybe let me really know how old I am. Um, I had one of my quarterbacks last year. He said, Coach, I don't even know what little Debbie's are. I said, what? He said, yeah, what are little Debbie's? I said, you never had a little Debbie snack?
Yeah, come
I
on,
said,
man.
what?
Come on, man. Come
Yeah, so I had to
on,
bring him
man.
in some oatmeal cream pies. He was like, Coach, like these are great. I'm like, man, you don't need too many of these, but yeah, this is what I grew up on, as a
Yes.
kid. And it's dealing, man. It's always trying to find a balance, man, because like it's like sometimes because I was once a player, it's like now I'm finding the balance of okay, you got to be able to relate to these kids where they're at. At the same time, though, you have to set like a standard, and there has to be a line that's set in order for them to respect you as coach. So,
Oh yeah.
um, yeah, you gotta find that balance.
Yes.
Gotta find that balance.
Oh yeah, that's part of the fun. It's almost like being a parent, right? You got to figure out that balance with your kids.
And look, that's the other part too. Like throwing the family in there, like coaching and find balance with work life and home life. And I've heard so many stories, of coaches sleeping in the office and going from 6 in the morning to 1 in the morning. So it's been able to be been fortunate, with Coach London. Like he's helped with the balance of trying to transition and you're not making it so you never see your family. You become 100% tied up into football, and I think if that happens and there's no balance, then I don't think you're gonna be the best coach you can be.
No
Oh
doubt.
man, absolutely. Absolutely. And so it's funny. I got one more for you. And so I know earlier we were talking about your freshman year at Tech and the playbook, getting bigger, stronger, faster, all those
Yeah,
things. So now you're 1 year, right? You had your freshman year of coaching. So you came back sophomore year of college, stronger, more mature. Now was your moment. How do you feel
hmm
about year two of your coaching?
I feel like year two is gonna slow down for me. And when I say
Okay.
slow down, as far as like just just in like the everyday, like the everyday of like now we're going through the spring, for example, of being able now to feel like when I'm going out to the practice field, I got a plan.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready. Like I've seen this before. I've seen this defense before. I know what
Yes.
they're gonna do. I played against this one time before, so that's kind of like my feeling of going into year two. Like now, just like my freshman year at Tech, where I was seeing a lot of new things, and the first time you see it, it's like, wait a minute, what just what just what just happened? What defense was that? Like who was that? Going into year two, like okay, I seen that. This is what we need to do. Okay, we need to work on that. So yeah, I'm feeling a lot better, man. A lot more confident um, about year two, and I'm excited.
Dude, that's awesome, man. I know you're making a major impact there, man. You're one of my favorite people, actually one of my favorite families, hands down. What your parents have done with you and
Thanks.
your brother, and that's wild that you were taller than your brother. I'm going to talk to Brandon about this out. But what they've done with y'all is so impressive. Your dad would be proud of you. I'm sure. I know your mom. I'm assuming your moms are proud of you too, man. And I want to share a quick. I'll try to share a quick story, so I don't want to keep you too long. I know we need to wrap up to stay on schedule for you. But I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I was picking colleges, have I told you about how I picked between UVA and Virginia Tech?
No.
Okay, all right. So I was picking between UVA and Virginia Tech, and you remember during our time, UVA was, they're getting some steam, right?
Yeah.
They had some
Yeah.
good recruits go there, and I'm a 2000 high school grad, and so I remember sitting. I was gonna go to UVA, but then my senior year, Mike Vick and the Hokies were making their run to the national championship, and
Right.
so I'm like, all right, well, you know, I gotta go. I gotta go with it. I gotta. And there's a couple other things, but as it just came down between those two schools, and I remember sitting down in our family room in our house in Fairfax. And I was with my family, and I did a pro and con chart for each school, UVA and Virginia Tech, and this is how I picked my school. And we went through everything: alumni, education, coaching staff. Well, it came down to the last one, and at the time, Virginia Tech was in the Big East.
hmm
They're in the process of winning the Big East that year, right?
hmm
And Virginia Tech or UVA was in the ACC, still in the ACC, and so Virginia Tech had won the Big East before, right? And so the last question was, can I win a championship? And with Virginia Tech, I said, absolutely, yeah. They're winning the Big East now, and they won the Big East before. Well, UVA at that point, and still to this day, they still have not won a championship. And so our senior year, with Bryan Randall leading our Virginia Tech Hokies, our senior year, we won the ACC championship. We won the very last thing that I wrote down in front of my family on the deciding factor was to win in my senior year. You helped accomplish that goal that you never even knew about, probably.
Come on, man.
And so that's why you're always my QB.
Come
I'm
on,
like
man.
T.O. with you. I'm like, that's my QB. That's my quarterback. so, so
Yes,
you
sir.
gotta, so I'm telling you this story now, here 25 years later, you always have
Wow.
you and your family have a special place in my heart and our family, and you're a part of a story that you didn't even know about.
Wow.
So it's deeper than sports sometimes, and there's these
It is.
stories that are deep, man,
That's
and
dope. That's dope.
intertwine us, man. So thank you
No
for
doubt.
sharing. Thank you for your commitment at
Man, thank
Virginia
you.
Tech, fighting through that freshman year.
Hey,
You know,
hey. Yes,
um,
sir. Yes,
so
sir.
because if anything changes
Ah,
with you, that it creates a ripple effect
You're right.
throughout everything. So
You're right, man.
appreciate you, man.
God's
oh,
plan,
hey,
man. God's
No
that's
plan.
doubt. No
That's
doubt.
awesome. Now you better watch out. The Cardinal are in the ACC now, so come on,
Yeah.
Stanford. Stanford goes to Blacksburg for baseball and football this
So how about
2026. So
Let's
how you
go.
be
how you feel? So what? How about that? How about Stan? How Stanford getting the ACC? Like
yeah.
what are we? I mean, what are
Talk
we
about
doing?
yes, the
I mean, that's a
Wild
whole nother.
West of
I know that's a whole nother story, but I'm just like
yes,
that is so wild to me. That is crazy.
Wow. We'll
yes.
loop you into that conversation. We've had a few of those.
That's wild. That's wild, man. That's
Yes,
awesome.
but yeah, talk about how different the landscape of college athletics is
Yeah.
now. Yeah, Stanford competing in the ACC. It was funny for me. It was the only time that we ever played. I don't know. I don't know how far I can go back with saying that. So maybe I'm just making things up. But was when I was in college, we played. Mike, what was it? It was the Orange Bowl. Stanford played Tech in
Stanford.
some bowl
No,
game. It was Andrew
yeah, it
Luck.
was. Where
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
Yes.
Andrew Luck.
Tyrod. Was that
So
Tyrod?
Yes. I believe so.
I
I
think it
believe
was.
is that Tyrod there?
I think it was.
yeah, I don't know, but that
I
was
have to
a.
fact check that one.
I remember it was a good first half for the Hokies. I don't
Then
know.
we were 1-0, so
Yeah.
I had
That's
my
some good.
claim. But then now we're back to playing and competing a bunch. But no, man, it's awesome to see these two worlds, and
It
appreciate
is.
everything that all the stories, everything that you've done, everything that you're doing for those kids now. Again, it's awesome for those individuals to have a coach like yourself, not only from the X's and O's, but from the life and experience and life lessons, right? And that's what the best coaches for all of us are, those individuals who are not necessarily the best coaches at the sport, but care about you more as, who you are as a person, being a good husband, father, citizen of society, whatever it is, right? And,
Right.
and so those kids are so awesome to have that support and have someone like you behind it. So we appreciate you taking the time with us. We're happy to help in any way that we can continue to be there to support you. And again, I just appreciate you taking some time, sharing some stories, having some laughs. It's been awesome having you on.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking Mike, man. It's been awesome, man. It's awesome podcast, man. I'm glad we got a chance to get on, man. It's always feels good to kind of go back and tell some stories and explain some things and get some things off your chest that it's been
Yeah.
over 20 years that some people may know, they may not know, but sometimes people can gain wisdom and understanding
Yeah.
when you just have conversations. So no, this was really cool, and I appreciate you guys.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, man.
All right now.
All right.